What's happening, guys and girls? Acrinator here, and welcome to another episode of World of Warcraft Dungeon Overview. This episode will be finishing up the Coilfang Reservoir Dungeon Hub by going through the Steamvault. I'll be running through it with my hunter you see here, so with that being said, let's dive straight into it. If you don't remember from the previous episodes we did a while back covering the other instances from Coilfang Reservoir, this is where the Naga have been hoarding all the resources that they could get their hands on. The majority of this would be the water throughout the marsh, but this also includes things like slaves and subjugated beasts found from the surrounding areas. You've probably noticed the giant steam pipes spreading throughout the zone. I'm not sure how you'd miss those. The Steamvault is where those pipes are designed, manufactured, and operated, so needless to say, it's a vital resource center for Lady Vash's forces. Seeing as we've already taken out their slave handling and beast mastering operations, the remainder of the Naga forces are on high alert and won't let us gain access without a fight. Vash has allocated some of her best fighters to guard the Steamvault with their lives, which means all the more work for us. The Steamvault is a level 70 dungeon with a heroic mode located within the Coilfang Reservoir Dungeon Hub. The entrance is found branching off of the main room as the rest of the instances we've covered thus far. So once you make it there, just head down the pathway that's directly to the left of the waterfall guarded raid entrance. By this point, I'd hope you'd be able to find it by process of elimination alone. Thespia was a childhood friend of Lady Vash before they were transformed into Naga, and has followed her through the dark portal into Outland to help out her lady with whatever nefarious deeds she intends for Zangarmarsh. With our recent meddlings, Vash has placed her most trusted advisors on guard duty for the Steamvault, which would mean Thespia is overseeing the drainage of the region's water supply. Thespia has two water elementals on each side of her, and these unfortunately can't be aggroed without pulling the boss as well, so just be sure to take them out quickly. Thespia will also cast Enveloping Winds, which summons a bunch of small tornadoes around the boss room. If you get caught in any of these, you'll be stunned for about 6 seconds, so keep an eye out when moving around. Most gnomes caught within the massive amounts of radiation during the fall of Gnomeregan lost all their sanity, and have spent the rest of their days mindlessly wandering through the once great capital's corridors, but not Steamrigger. Somehow the only thing this former Mekgineer lost was his empathy for other living creatures, meaning that he could use his superior gnomish intellect to get ahead in life. Much like his goblin counterparts, Steamrigger would travel all across Azeroth selling his services to the highest bidder, which so happened to be Lady Vash of the Coilfang this time around. They hired him to manufacture the steam pipes you now see throughout the marsh. The corrupted Mekgineer is the mastermind behind the Naga's latest technology, and as such, must be taken care of before any more damage can be done to Outland's delicate ecosystem. Just a heads up, once you make it past the first boss area, the trash mob packs will become much larger and harder to fight. Just be aware that you're likely going to have to fight 5 to 10 mobs per pull, compared to the normal 3 or so in other dungeons. Speaking of lots of trash mobs, Mekgineer Steamrigger has tons of little leper gnomes surrounding his platform. Be sure to take out the 2 packs further away from the boss. The last few are impossible to pull without also grabbing the boss, so don't worry about those. Steamrigger will periodically summon more leper gnomes to fight by his side. They aren't elite, so just AoE them down and focus on the boss. The last little bit is that the tank should face the boss away from the rest of the group, since he has a directional based ability that shrinks players and greatly decreases their damage for a short while. If you don't want to spend forever chipping down his health, stay behind him, assuming you're not the tank. Kalithresh is one of Vash's top generals, and one who's gone through many experiments in order to become empowered. Dark elixirs and arcane tests have left the devoted soldier even more powerful than anyone could have possibly imagined. There's a reason why he's been left to guard the main control panel for the Steamvault, and this will likely be one of the toughest fights we've ever had. This first part is extremely important if you don't want to backtrack all the way through the dungeon all over again. Behind the first 2 bosses you'll find control panels. They blend in well with the background, but you need to click on them in order to unlock the door to the final boss. Opening the door will cause 4 groups of very strong trash mobs to appear, guarding the final boss. Take your time and only pull 1 group at a time. Each has 2 melee and 2 casters, and the casters should be killed first. They may seem like normal trash, but trust me, they're capable of killing you if your group underestimates them. Once you actually start the final fight, Kalithresh can cast a few different abilities, all of which are pretty devastating if you try to ignore them. The first is that he can put up a shield that reflects all spells cast on him for 8 seconds. There's no way to avoid this, so just be aware for when he puts it up so that you can stop casting. The next 2 abilities are mostly for the healer's concern. Head Crack decreases the target's stamina for 15 seconds, and Impale causes a lot of damage over time. You're going to have your guard up perpetually to make sure no one dies during this. The last thing is that Kalithresh will activate a nearby distiller that, if not destroyed in 12 seconds, will grant him a buff. This buff increases his speed and damage significantly, and it will stack quite a bit, so be sure to take down the distiller before your 12 seconds is up. Think of it as a softened rage that slowly snowballs out of control. The best advice I can give you for this fight is to take everything everything slow and deal with the mechanics as they come along. Don't try to rush the boss down, because you're probably going to forget to deal with something that will bite you in the ass faster than you can say GG. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and if you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more like it, maybe even subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Links for my social media and whatnot are in the description below. And as for the comment question, am I the only one who thinks putting all the controls for the steam pipes throughout Zangarmarsh in one place was a really bad idea? I mean, yeah, it was heavily guarded by some of the most well-trained Coilfang Naga in existence, but still, bad design on their part. Anyways, that's all the time we've got for today, so until next time, don't die.